Have you ever wondered what would happen if a nuclear war were to break out today? Are we prepared for such a catastrophic event? It's a chilling thought, isn't it? The very idea of nuclear war carries with it a sense of dread, a fear of the unknown. Yet, it is crucial that we understand the potential consequences of such a cataclysm. While it's a scenario we hope never unfolds, it's important to be informed. So, let's delve into the minute-by-minute breakdown of a nuclear war. The very first minute of a nuclear war is marked by the launch of the nuclear weapons. This isn't a hasty decision, it's a calculated move, made after much deliberation, often at the highest levels of government. Picture this, a room filled with military strategists and political leaders, their faces etched with the gravity of the decision they're about to make. The order is given, the button is pushed, the launch process is initiated. Now, these weapons aren't just any ordinary bombs. They're nuclear missiles, the most devastating weapons known to mankind. As they ascend into the sky, their trajectory is set toward their unfortunate targets. In the targeted areas, initial reactions vary. Some remain blissfully unaware, others scramble for safety, while a few stand frozen in disbelief. But one thing is common: the looming sense of dread as the world as they know it is about to change forever. As the missiles take flight, we move into the second minute. In the second minute, the missiles are in flight, moving at speeds faster than sound. Imagine, if you will, a hunk of metal hurtling through the stratosphere at more than 5 times the speed of a commercial jet. It's a marvel of modern engineering, and yet, a harrowing symbol of human capacity for destruction. The missiles follow a precise trajectory, calculated with a degree of accuracy that is quite literally astronomical. They arc high into the atmosphere, almost brushing against the edge of space, before they begin their descent. While in flight, these missiles are nearly impossible to intercept. The sheer speed, coupled with the high altitude, makes them elusive targets. And even if an interception is possible, the resulting explosion would still cause significant damage. As we delve into the complex mechanics of a nuclear missile flight, it becomes clear just how daunting a prospect this is. As the flight continues, we move into the third minute. The third minute marks the impact of the nuclear weapons. In the blink of an eye, the world as we know it changes. The initial shock wave ripples through the air, a devastating force that obliterates anything in its path. Buildings crumble like sandcastles against the tide, trees are uprooted, and the very ground beneath our feet trembles with the raw power of the blast. But the shock wave, as destructive as it is only the beginning. Following close on its heels is the fireball. This is not a fireball in the whimsical, fantastical sense. No, this is a monstrous ball of searing heat and light, a sun birthed on the surface of our Earth. It engulfs everything in its path, incinerating anything unlucky enough to be caught in its fiery embrace. The temperature at the heart of this fireball can reach millions of degrees, hotter even than the surface of the sun. Yet the horror does not stop there. The nuclear blast also unleashes a wave of radiation, an invisible and insidious killer. This radiation can cause immediate sickness in those exposed, with symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and weakness. But its effects can also be long-term, leading to cancers and genetic damage that can persist for generations. The devastation caused by a nuclear blast is not limited to the immediate vicinity of the explosion. The shock wave, fireball, and radiation can all have far-reaching effects, impacting areas and people far removed from ground zero. The impact of a nuclear weapon is not a localized event, but a global catastrophe. And then there's the ominous mushroom cloud, a haunting symbol of nuclear destruction, rising high into the sky, blotting out the sun and casting a long, foreboding shadow on the world below. This is the aftermath of the nuclear impact, the scar left on the face of our planet by mankind's most destructive creation. As the dust settles, we move into the fourth minute. In the fourth minute, we start to see the fallout from the nuclear explosion. Fallout, in nuclear terms, is the residual radioactive material propelled into the upper atmosphere following a nuclear blast. This fallout, once it descends back to Earth, has far-reaching and long-lasting effects on both the environment and living organisms. Radiation sickness is one of the immediate concerns. This is not a malaise that you shake off with a good night's sleep. It's a debilitating and often fatal illness caused by exposure to a large dose of radiation in a short period of time. Symptoms range from nausea and vomiting to weakness, hair loss, and even severe burns. But the fallout doesn't just affect the human body, it also takes a heavy toll on the infrastructure. Buildings, roads, bridges, the very skeleton of a city can be severely damaged or utterly destroyed, not to mention the impact on electric grids, water supply systems, and communication networks. The fallout essentially sends us back to the Stone Age, stripping us of the modern conveniences we've come to rely on. Yet the fallout doesn't stop there. We also have to consider the onset of nuclear winter. This isn't your typical winter wonderland with snowflakes gently falling from the sky. Nuclear winter is a severe and prolonged global climatic cooling effect hypothesized to occur after widespread firestorms following a nuclear war. The smoke and dust propelled into the atmosphere would block out sunlight, leading to lower temperatures that could persist for months or even years. In a nutshell, the fallout from a nuclear explosion is a multifaceted catastrophe. It's a domino effect that takes a toll on human health, infrastructure, and the global climate. The effects are long-lasting, and recovery is a slow, painstaking process. And all this happens in just the 4th minute following a nuclear explosion. As the fallout spreads, we move into the 5th minute. The 5th minute brings us to the aftermath of the nuclear explosion. As the mushroom cloud begins to dissipate, the world we once knew transforms into an unrecognizable landscape. The immediate vicinity is a barren wasteland with remnants of once thriving cities reduced to rubble. Emergency services, those who survived the initial blast, are quick to respond. Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, and military personnel all spring into action in the face of unimaginable devastation. Their courage and resilience are tested to the limit as they navigate through the chaos, trying to save as many lives as possible. The environment too bears the brunt of this catastrophe. The nuclear fallout leaves behind a toxic legacy, contaminating the air, soil, and water. The once lush green landscapes are now charred and lifeless, the rivers and oceans poisoned. The nuclear winter that follows brings about a severe and prolonged global cooling effect, threatening all forms of life. The human toll is staggering. Millions of lives are lost in an instant, with countless more suffering from radiation sickness. The survivors face a grim future, dealing with the loss of their loved ones, their homes, and their way of life. The physical scars may heal over time, but the psychological trauma lingers on, casting a long shadow over the survivors' lives. The aftermath of a nuclear explosion is not just about the immediate destruction. It also encompasses the long-term effects on human health, the environment, and the socio-political landscape. The ripple effects of such an event are felt for generations, with the recovery process taking decades, if not centuries. In the wake of such devastation, the resilience of humanity is put to the test. Despite the overwhelming odds, the survivors find the strength to rebuild, to heal, and to hope for a better future. The aftermath is a testament to the indomitable human spirit, a stark reminder of the horrors of nuclear warfare, and a compelling argument for peace. As we grapple with the aftermath, we move into the final minutes. The final minutes of a nuclear war are marked by the long-term repercussions. These are the echoes that reverberate long after the last mushroom cloud has dissipated. The political, environmental, and societal changes that follow a nuclear war are profound and far-reaching. In the political sphere, a nuclear war would dramatically shift global power dynamics. The nations that survive would be faced with the monumental task of rebuilding and re-establishing order in a world forever changed. New alliances would be formed, old ones would crumble, and the global political map would be redrawn. The environmental effects would be equally devastating. The fallout from nuclear explosions would lead to a nuclear winter, a period of abnormal cold and darkness caused by the blocking of sunlight. This would cause a significant decrease in Earth's temperatures, leading to crop failures and famine. The world would be plunged into a long, harsh winter, threatening the survival of countless species. The societal changes would be the most immediate and palpable. Cities would be reduced to ruins, infrastructure would crumble. The survivors would have to contend with the loss of loved ones, the lack of basic services, and the constant threat of radiation sickness. The long-term effects of a nuclear war are not just about physical destruction. They are about a world irrevocably altered, a humanity forever scarred, and so we see that the impact of a nuclear war is far-reaching and devastating. The minute-by-minute breakdown of a nuclear war is not a scenario we would ever want to witness. The launch, the flight, the impact, the fallout, the aftermath, and the repercussions. Each stage is a horrifying testament to the destructive power we've brought into existence. We've journeyed through the unthinkable, highlighting the immense devastation and loss that would follow from the use of nuclear weapons. The haunting image of a world shattered, societies decimated, and countless lives extinguished drives home the urgency of nuclear disarmament. The path to a safe and secure world lies not in escalating conflicts but through peaceful resolutions. It's a shared responsibility, demanding global cooperation to ensure that nuclear weapons are a relic of the past, not a specter that haunts our future. The best way to survive a nuclear war? Prevent it from happening in the first place.